So about Ashi, like 2 videos ago, I made a video talking about anime getting worse as time goes on. Well, it wasn't my opinion, but when I heard starting to float around, I started to think about what has come out and what is yet to come out, and quickly realized that this statement was pretty stupid. There were a ton of good shows to come out this year, and still a ton left to come out. Among those shows I listed was Ashi. I never really think about ranking my favorite genres. I probably have a show in at least almost every genre that I like a lot, but if I had to say what the sports genre would be in that ranking, I would say probably second or third. Number 1 is definitely shonen. I'm 99% sure the biggest percentage of one genre I have seen is shonen, but I might say third because I would put comedy in front of sports. I watch more sports anime, at least I'm pretty sure I did watch more, but I also really like Gintama, so sports will be my second or third favorite genre. It feels a little bit underrated to be honest. The only sports anime I would say is mainstream is Haikyuu, which sucks since I don't even think it's the best one out. Haikyuu is really good, don't get me wrong. It does a really good job on getting people interested into a sport that they don't even care about. I think it was my first sports anime I completed. I watched Hajime no Ippo before Haikyuu, but I skipped to the last season of Hajime no Ippo without realizing it. I ended up just starting from the very beginning again later down the line. The other sports anime out there are only watched by people who specifically look for sports anime. Haikyuu is more of a gateway into those other sports anime. After watching Haikyuu, people either just don't watch any other sports series, or it gets them more interested into the genre. It's probably what got me more interested into the genre in general, because I'm not a sports fan at all. I like to play sports, but I think watching sports itself is pretty boring, like the NFL or NBA, which is why I started to look out for more sports anime like Ashi that come out every few seasons. Sports animes don't come out too often now that I'm looking at it. The distance between Ashi and the last sports anime is probably a sizable amount. Blue Lock comes out in August though, but that's probably the first time 2 sports anime released that close to each other in a really long time. And with how both of them are soccer animes, they of course started to get a lot of comparisons. As for which one is better, people seem pretty split between the 2 of them. What I generally hear is that Ashi has better world building, but Blue Lock has better characters, or better character development, which is something I can see, since both of them take soccer at different angles. In Blue Lock, it looks to be more about the personal development of the characters, with how the main character for Blue Lock had PTSD from passing the ball to his teammate, or something like that, since it ended up costing them the match, so he started to feel regret about it, and wondered if he should have taken the shot himself. Blue Lock is definitely more about the main character, and the other characters developing internally, whereas Ashi is the complete opposite. From what I understand, Ashi is trying to go through the process of a middle schooler to becoming a pro. So it builds up a lot on the world, not just what is happening currently. Even now in the anime, there's a lot of mentioning of the soccer world outside of Japan, which is the first time I've seen a sports anime really try and cover that. I heard from my friend that Haikyuu also shows the players going pro in the manga, but it doesn't really look like it's the same thing as Ashi. I got spoiled a little bit for the manga, so I roughly know what happens. Like Karasuno loses a spring tournament cup, and then there's a long time skip. It skips over the rest of their high school years and jumps to him being on a high level team. I think it just jumps straight to them being on a professional volleyball club in another country, from freshmen to adults basically. But Ashi is trying to go through the full transition in real time, no behind the scenes development. There might be a time skip in the manga, but it's probably only a couple of months at most, from the MC starting in the Esperion youth team and eventually building up to grow up and join a pro soccer team. It's the first sports anime I've seen done this, so I'm really interested in it. Something like this would probably take a really long time to build up to, but the process sounds interesting to watch. I looked at how many chapters there are, and currently it's almost at 300, and it's still with Ashito being in that youth team that he just got into in the anime. He's still a freshman from what I can see, so there is still a lot more left to cover in Ashi. Haikyuu ended in chapter 400 and something, when the characters had the time skip and went pro for reference. The longest sports anime all time is Hajime no Ippo, I think. At least the longest sports anime I've seen. It's the longest anything I've watched or read. It's close to its 1400th chapter, so I would be surprised if there even was anything close to match it. Hajime no Ippo is probably a better comparison to Ashi than Haikyuu. In Hajime no Ippo, it follows Makunoshi from high school all the way to being 26 currently. Boxing doesn't exactly have the same leagues and stuff that soccer has set up, but it followed his career from teenager to full adult, so I think we can expect Ashi to go for at least 600 or 700 minimum. I can definitely see it going on for longer, but if I had to say a bare minimum, 600 or 700 to fit Ashito joining a real pro league team. He would have to be at least 18 I think at that point. That's more or less all I had to say though. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for future content. Peace.